Hi guys, welcome to a new episode on the channel, and today we'll be talking about the Iliad from the preface, introduction, and books 1 to 5. I'll be doing a quick summary of these, and then I will also be telling you my opinion about them. So let's get this started. Heads up, hold tight, and let's go on. And that's not heavy history. So, the Iliad. The preface is written by the translator of the book I'm using, Robert Fagles. I'm also going to say about the introduction is that it's kind of great. It talks about the whole book itself, and then it also gives us a quick brief history about the whole Iliad thing. Robert Fagles actually did a good thing too, and Bernard Knox did the introduction part. He did a pretty good job of it, and I have to say that if this was a movie and it had to go on Rotten Tomatoes, and I was the deciding vote on the tomato meter, then I would say it would probably get a 90 or 80%, somewhere in that range. So what do you guys say? I actually have no idea what you guys would say, but sure enough, I would guess you guys, after reading this, you'd say boring, 0%, but not in my case. So now let's get really started with the book. Okay, Zeus, lightning! So, book 1. Book 1 is called The Rage of Achilles. It has a lot of things to do with Achilles, as the chapter is about it. The protagonist is Achilles anyway, so what I'm going to say is that maybe, just maybe, there isn't something that I know. One thing I do know is that this book itself, in The Rage of Achilles, is the way start of the whole Trojan War. Paris has stolen Helen from a Greek king, and they went all the way to Troy, and they decided to do a lot of couple stuff. They got married and stuff. Some sources say that he was kidnapped her because she did not want to go. Other sources say that she went willingly, and that it was all a matter of fact that she would go. Yay, heads up, Helen and Troy. Helen and Paris? Why did all this happen anyway? Why did Paris want Helen so much? Well, it turns out she's the most beautiful person in the world. Duh. But also, he did not know that she was the beautiful person in the world until just a few hours ago. So why does he want her so much then? I mean, yeah. So it turns out there was this god who was not invited to a wedding. Every god was except this guy. So he decided to do something and threw an apple inside with the words carved into for the most it has some words that it's I guess it's for the most beautiful, or I guess the most worthy. I'll just go with that. It's probably not correct, but sure, believe me if not. And yeah, and Paris, it was decided that Paris, the most handsome man in the world, decided that the gods decided that he will be the deciding vote. And he was like, Aphrodite, Athena, or Hera? Athena said, I will let you conquer all the lands that you can see from here. Hera said, well, I'll give you everything you want. Aphrodite said, I'll give you the most beautiful woman in the world as your wife. And, well, obviously he wanted a wife, so he got Aphrodite the apple. Bing! Well, Athena and Hera were like, yeah! And then went up to Zeus and, they decided to make war. Actually, that is not the reason why they went to war. Instead, this is exactly what happened. After stealing Helen, who turned out to be the Greeks, they created a war between the Greeks and the Trojans. Ding, ding, ding! Fight! And so what happened now? I actually don't know. Why would we know? I'm kidding, we do know. It's written in the Trojan. So the Rage of Achilles is corrected. And more things have happened. In the great gathering of armies, a lot of armies come together. Two of the armies that were supposed to come were missing, Odysseus and Achilles. Odysseus being the most noble person of all, and Achilles being the most rageous but the strongest warrior of the Greeks. Smack! And yeah, so why were they missing? Well, it turned out they were both visited by oracles, and the one who told Odysseus said, if you go to this war, you will never, ever come back home. Until after 20 years you leave. And for Achilles, well, this is what happened. Achilles was also told that he would die during this war, even though he was invincible. It turned out his heel wasn't invincible, and which is why we have the expression Achilles' heel. And as Bill Cipher says, "Hey Achilles, nice work with the heel!" And yeah, more to it later. And then, well, Odysseus has to go no matter what, after he was forced to save a person as a heroic action. And then in the meantime, he fell into Achilles' land and disguised himself as a merchant. And disguised himself as a merchant and came up to her and said, "Would you like all of these beautiful women?" Achilles disguised himself as a woman. And while all the other women were like, "Ooh, beautiful jewelry," Achilles, who was turned out to be a woman, came up and looked at the weapons. "Aha! You a man! Women do not like weapons!" "Uh-oh," said Achilles. So let me put back my glasses because I can't see a thing. And yeah, that's pretty much basically all that happened. The rage of Achilles, all of it combined into one small thing. So yeah, now book 3. Helen reviews the champions. Helen comes back and then she finds herself looking at a duel with Paris and Agamemnon fighting to the death. Aphrodite saves Paris by just teleporting him away into the house, his palace, with also teleporting Helen into the palace too. Yay! And so that's pretty much all that happened. After that, book 5, Diomedes fights the gods. Book 4 is just war between the gods. Like, hey, I want to fight this guy. You have to fight this guy. No, he won that duel. Yeah, he has to end the war. Hey guys, I say, you shut up. You shut up. I think he has to win here. And eventually they're like, all right, you win. Zeus was like, you win. Send Athena down and like, yeah. Athena was sent down and provoked the war to start all over again. The truce was ended. 9 more years to go. Bad luck. Tough luck, guys. Book 5. Diomedes fights the gods. Athena granted Diomedes the powers to actually be able to win a fight with a god. He had superhuman strength and could easily defeat a god. He was only given these powers under one condition, that he only attacked this Aphrodite. Aphrodite came down to save Paris, and then she got her wrists cut. And then when it was healed, she was never told down to go into warfare again. And then later, when Apollo came down to fight, then like Diomedes harmed Apollo. And I decided to do much more things to do than that. So what does he do? Nothing else other than just fight to the death. Athena takes away the vow that she made and lets him fight Ares. And Ares got injured, like, what? And teleports all the way to Mount Olympus and complains to Zeus, "Look at my injuries. I hate it. I'm the god of war. I should not be injured." And Zeus like, "You deserve your injuries." Bah, classic Zeus. And that is basically how all the Iliad ends, at least for now. Book 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24 are still in the making. So, hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Hanshan, the Iliad. I'll see you guys on my next toast of the Iliad. Next up, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. See you then. Peace.